Hey YouTube, welcome back. Today I did some cutting on the bandsaw, the cold cut saw, and the grinder. I recorded those cuts and I wanted to talk about the difference in each of the cutting methods, the pros and cons, and just for information for those of you that are watching that may be shopping. The first thing to talk about is the bandsaw. I really love my bandsaw. I've had it for oh gosh, I've had this one about 7 years, and it's been really good. It's cut hundreds, well, thousands and thousands of pounds of steel. One of my favorite things about it is you load whatever it is you need into it you turn it on, and you can just walk away. I don't leave my shop, but I can go work on other stuff while it's cutting. It gets through the whole cut of whatever it is cutting, and then there's a switch when it gets down to the bottom that shuts it off. And so it's nice. It's almost kind of like a second helper here, because you just throw something in there and walk away, and it shuts itself off when it's done cutting, and then you can reload it. This bandsaw ran me right around $800. I think it was $789 and then $100 and something for shipping. It's a German-built baileigh saw. Baileigh is the brand name. The model number is BS127P, and I'll have a picture of the model number come across the screen, like right here or right there. But it's been a great saw. It is a little rougher for the wear now. My blade guard is completely ruined. The emergency shutoff button is ruined. I've never really even needed it, but something fell on it and broke it. But what I have written here for all my pros that I could think of when I was thinking about it is it's fairly accurate. Now that needs to be in like quotations or in parentheses when I say it's fairly accurate. As long as the blade is sharp, it is fairly accurate. That saw can cut 5 inches vertically straight down and 5.5 inches wide, so you can fit pretty large material in there. Or in my case, when I'm working on trailers and stuff like that, I can put a bundle of something in there. I could put 4 of these 2x2 square tubes in there. Angle iron, it's not uncommon for me to stack 10 of them and cut 10 pieces at once in that saw. And so I like it for that. It's fairly accurate. It's self-cutting, I've talked about. It's automated almost. The blades, if you're really careful clamping your materials in there and get your blade speed correct, you might change a blade 2 to 3 times a year only. The last blades that I ordered, I got for right around $20 a piece. So they're not the most expensive, but those blades aren't holding up as well. The last time I bought really good blades, I got some really nice Lennox blades from the local air gas, and I think those cost me right around $40 per blade. Those blades definitely cut faster and lasted longer. The cons to this saw is, of the 3 saws that I'm reviewing today, that saw is the most expensive. Like I said, it's $789 plus shipping. The blades can be pricey, but they do last a long time. When the blades start to get dull, this is the worst part, is when they start to get dull, your blade as it cuts down will just veer. It can even twist side to side right before it breaks. And so as the blade dulls, the accuracy gets worse. It is slower, so if you're just like, I need this piece cut right now, it's not always the tool to go to. Probably for that, the cold cut saw is the saw you want to run to, because most of its cuts are 5 seconds, 10 seconds. The bandsaw, the last con that I have written down for it is that the blades, as they start to dull, and even when they're not completely dull, they will just randomly snap. And then your material's not completely cut. The saw just sits there and runs even though it's not cutting. I would say 65 to 70% of the usage in my shop and in my line of work and what I do, that saw is used 65 to 70% of the time. Now the other saw that I wanted to talk about is from sawblade.com. I don't believe they make this saw anymore, but Evolution Power Saw has one that's basically identical. It's right around $400. The blades for this saw, if you shop around really carefully, you can find them for about $55. These blades can last decently long. Not nearly what the bandsaw blade will last, but they last decently long. The blades, like I said, they're $55. This saw, the thing I hate about it the most is two parts, and they're at this exact same time. Is it is really loud, like pierce your soul, cause you to want to die, screeching loud. And then it kicks out these little chips, and I have a picture of them that will pop up right here. These little chips, and they're like tiny little Morningstar mace razor blades that shoot out at you. And when they're first cut off, the material that you cut stays cold to the touch. Like it won't even heat up hardly at all. The pieces, the chips that it cuts out though, are glowing orange, and you'll be able to see that as it cuts. And they shoot everywhere. They come up out of the saw and bounce up on your neck. They hit you in the face. The worst is when they hit you on the lips, so I always wear a face shield when I cut with that saw. Face shield and safety glasses and earplugs. The biggest pro to this saw is it is by far the most accurate cut and is by far the fastest cut. Very fast, very clean. Like I said, you can touch the metal as you're cutting, and after it's done cutting, it doesn't even heat the material up at all. It's very versatile. This particular saw can miter 60 degrees either direction, and then 55 degrees either direction. And so you can do compound cuts with it. The last bumper that I built, I had a piece of 2" by 8" rectangular tubing, and we did a compound miter on that, and it just goes right through it. When you are doing compound angles, or any angles for that matter, it is more prone to have the blade catch, and as soon as that blade catches, it's ruined. It's garbage. And then even, you'll see when I cut this piece of C-channel, this is 4" C-channel, I don't know what the weight on it, but as I cut that, you'll see and you'll hear, I think, the blade catches in one spot there, and it did rip one of the ceramic carbide teeth off. However, if you're really careful, make sure everything is clamped in very, very securely on the base of the saw. It cuts really well, and it's less likely to catch. The cons for this saw, super hot chips, they go everywhere. Blades are pricey, and the blade is basically trash after it catches. The third cutting method that I did was the Makita 6" angle grinder. I would say I cut with that probably 15 to 20% of the time. The biggest downside to cutting with an angle grinder is your cuts are as good as your hands are. Shaky and steady and strong. And so you'll see every material that I cut that with, I end up marking using a square. I'm drawing on at least 2 sides, aside from the round tube because I couldn't find my pipe wrap. You mark on at least 2 sides so you can get a 3-dimensional straight cut. The grinder is faster than the bandsaw, but far less precise. Of everything that you can cut with, the grinder is going to be the most affordable and most versatile. They weigh 2-3 pounds. They cost, you can buy grinders for less than $40 if you want to buy a Harbor Freight one and risk catching on fire. They're $14. This particular saw that I used, just for record purposes, $175, and then the blades are $1 a piece, and I have a picture of the blade as well. Pros from, it's affordable, portable, and versatile. They're light, they're small, they're easy to handle. Sorry, I keep looking at it because I'm thinking about it as I'm talking. The cons is they're not as accurate. The other con is you have very limited depth. You'll see as I cut this round tube, I have to actually roll the tubing around to get to everything. Same with the square tubing. I got like 95% of the way through, and I had to roll around to the bottom to get the last little bit. So you don't have the greatest depth on cut. And then I would say of the 3 cutting methods, it's the most dangerous. If those blades break, I've seen pictures, and I might be able to throw it on here, where there's a blade stuck in a guy's safety glasses. I have a friend whose dad had a blade blow up, and it stuck right in his sternum. So I've never experienced that. I've never had a blade explode. I've had crack on me, and I throw them away immediately, but I've never had one explode. Hopefully you find this information useful. These are my 3 main cutting methods. If you're interested and want to comment, I could do plasma cutting and oxy-fuel cutting in comparison with these 3 methods on these same materials. Really, oxy-fuel is better for larger material than all this, and plasma is much more based around hard-to-reach spots and flat material. I would never really prefer a plasma cutter for this square tube or the round tube. But really, you saw me on my trailer use a plasma cutter and oxy-fuel to cut this same material, C-channel on the trailer, when I couldn't reach it with the grinder. So anyways, if this is something you're into, like, comment, subscribe, share. Sharing does the most right now. Later on, we'll probably be commenting and liking. But get this out there. Coming up probably in about 2 months, I'm going to do another angle grinder video. I'm going to order a DeWalt 6-inch grinder. I felt like I maybe is a little too mean to the DeWalt tools, because I really do like a lot of DeWalt tools. But I'm going to buy a 6-inch angle grinder to compare with the Makita. And then after I open that box and video that and do a comparison video, I'll send that out. We'll do a giveaway, and that'll get sent to somebody that's subscribed. But anyways, keep watching for more. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for coming.